All right, cool. What are you doing this time?
Gary, I bought a lids.
I don't know what that is.
You know, when you go to the mall and there's that store that just sells like sports team hats. I bought a lids.
I gotta look this up.
Yeah.
I don't know what a lids is. It's a company owned by Hat World Incorporated.
Yeah.
So, okay, Hat World Incorporated.
Gary, I don't know how much more simple I can make this. I bought a lids.
No, cool. With lids. See, I just here's the thing. I didn't know what lids was.
Yeah.
No,
it's fine.
It's
I
not
mean,
that
like
complicated.
now you know. Now you know that I bought a lids, and you know what a lids is.
And I know that it was the headquarters in Indianapolis, Indiana. It was founded in 1995.
Yeah.
So over 1,000 locations.
Yeah.
Go lids. I'm on board now.
Go lids, and also locker room by lids. It's a whole thing.
If you transfigure you take the three lids locations in my area, they form a perfect triangle, and right in the center of that triangle is an island in the middle of the Willamette River. No joke.
Really?
Yeah, that's what it looks like, just according to this map.
Fun.
So I wonder what's like Lids Island. What's going on there?
Yeah. No, this lids is actually it's not in Portland. It's in Butte, Montana.
Okay.
You know, I just figured that
we have a travel budget. Let's use it.
That's where they had lids stuff available. Yeah. So what I want to do, we've got all these hats for different sports teams, large and small. Gary, I'm just going to dump this box of hats on you and see which one sticks. Then we can extrapolate from there. So here we go. Shake, 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 shake. All right, there's a tumble of. Oh, huh? Did you know there's the Kansas City Chameleons?
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, chameleons are not endemic to that area.
What's Kansas City? Let me look that up real quick. I don't know what that.
Okay, what is Kansas City?
Founded in 1995 in Indianapolis. I thought.
The idea for a Kansas City was started in
Indiana in the year 1995.
Yep, it is Kansas City, the city that doesn't actually belong to a state. If you think, hey, it's in Kansas, nope, it's the one in Missouri. And if you say Missouri, no, it's in Kansas.
AKA the city that sometimes sleeps.
Yep, the diurnal city. Yeah. So let's put this in the game computer. Oh, you're a real Kid Chameleon wearing that hat, buddy.
Oh, that's we put it in the game computer, which is the one that said what I looked like, rather than seeing what I looked like and putting that into the game computer. But that's okay. Yeah. The game computer knows all. Yeah. It's especially once we uploaded Derek's spirit into it.
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, his physical body dissolved.
Yeah,
from all the modifications.
A lot of experimentation, but luckily he's lawnmower manning his way through our hearts and through our mainframe here.
Yeah, it's a real 2009. It's a real 2009 Bionic Commando kind of thing.
Yeah. So Kid Chameleon. Yeah, I don't know.
Fine.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm Gary Butterfield.
I'm Kole Ross.
And this is Abject Suffering, the show where we play bad games so you don't have to. And Kole, before we get started.
No, we should definitely address what people just heard, right?
Yeah. So Doug Cameron wrote an arrangement of the theme song, did a cover of the theme song. Yeah. That we use this episode because I think it's real good.
It is very good. Thank you, Doug. Yeah. I was delighted to hear it.
Yeah, thanks, Doug. It is a surreal thing to hear. So, it's happened a couple of times in my life, and it's always weird to hear somebody else play music that you wrote.
Yeah.
And it is neat.
It's funny. That melody line maps very well to an electric guitar.
Yeah. all on accident. It just like was not intentional, and I like how it sounds a lot. I like that arrangement.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thanks, Doug.
Thank you. We should ask him if it's okay to put that in, like put that on Patreon for people to get a hold of.
Oh yeah. He definitely said it's okay to use as the episode, but I'll check and see if we can put it up.
Yeah. So and we'll do it with credit and stuff. Yeah. So this week we are talking about a game that is not actually that bad. It is Kid Chameleon. This is kind of the Sega answer to Mario a little bit.
I could have swore we did this already.
No, we did Kid Kool.
Yeah. And did we do another Kid game?
No, we didn't do Kid Icarus.
Okay.
We definitely
Kid Icarus is actually I would mind doing that for a WAF at some point. I think the game is interesting.
Yeah.
I don't I just had very distinct memories of like, oh, I think it's just because I played this because it showed up on a bunch of like Sega classics.
Yeah.
Jazz.
Yeah. We've done like Adventure Island 2, which I always get mixed up with this as well.
Yeah.
Alex Kidd.
Lots of floaty, like interesting platformers with bad core mechanics,
right?
Or like bad core like game feel,
right. To me, this feels a little bit more successful than those. Like this feels okay. It's not perfect. It's not there.
Yeah.
But like I kind of had to stop myself from playing more of it.
I actually like. So that didn't happen for me. I like this game more than some other games that we've done. Absolutely.
Uh-huh.
I still think that the two things that I think stop this from being like a really good game is the feel of just moving around. Like it's real slip slidey.
Yeah.
It's still you still feel like you're on ice all the time, and like the jumps are floaty and weird. And two, I don't think the level design is very good.
Yeah, that is also a thing. So I'm definitely grading on a curve when I say that this feels good. I think that like that is almost a way of saying like this feels less dated than some other stuff that came out in 1992 that we played.
100%. And other stuff we've done for the show, obviously, and then even just like other Genesis platformers.
Right.
Like I don't think this is like I don't like this as much as like a Rystar.
Right.
But I like the variety of verbs that you have in this. Like, this stands up to a lesser Sonic to me, pretty much. Like it doesn't look, those games actually do feel really good to move around in, but you don't get to do very much. And this gives you a lot of different kind of player expression stuff.
Right. Specifically, that it is manifested in this kind of hat or helmet mechanic where Kid Chameleon basically like can Kirby himself into a different moveset.
Yes, through a pretty fun premise. For this is that the story is that there's a VR arcade ripped right from the headlines, and this the VR arcade, the Noah to this Noah's arcade is kidnapping children when he beats them at their VR game, which not best practices,
right?
And Kid Chameleon, this titular kid, is super good at the game, so he's going in to take him down.
Let's talk about how cool this Kid Chameleon is.
He looks like the guy who loves the Power Glove in Captain N or in the Wizard.
The Wizard, yeah. He's definitely got kind of like a Stephen King villain Greaser vibe to him.
Yes,
yeah. He's got the leather jacket and the slick back hair and the and the glasses. I believe that if you look at the cover, he is skateboarding on it. He is definitely in a skateboarding kind of pose.
He's snowboarding, actually, I think, because they're on a white surface.
Yeah. He appears like he looks like a distant relative of Kid Kool is what I'm saying.
Yeah, he's an extremely cool little kid.
Yeah,
and it's cool that he can get all these powers. This helmet conception here is really neat. Like this is, I never played this when it came out, but I read Video Game Magazine stories about it,
right?
Like in like GamePro and shit all the time to like learn about these different abilities you can get, and some of them are extremely cool.
Yeah, some of them don't make a goddamn lick of sense. I don't understand why they open up with the knight who can climb,
as
like knights do.
Yeah, heavy knights. He can also bash things with his head.
Yeah,
which is the part that makes sense. But like figuring out how he can climb is kind of silly. And there's a lot of non-linearity to this. There are like hidden hats that you can do to allow you to skip levels and allow you to traverse levels in different ways. And your hats are persistent between levels. So like the speedrun stats or like the pro stats for this involve like getting specific desirable helmets and keeping them. when you have one of these helmets, you get its own bespoke life bar. So the knight version of you has a life, and then once he dies, you switch back into regular Kid Kool, and have to find another helmet to kind of get that power up.
Yeah.
Again, but it's on that level, it's fairly generous. The actual like level design and kind of hazards are very difficult in this game.
Yes, and that's what the majority of the reviews talk about, is that this is kind of a game that is considered to be pretty difficult. I did the first two biomes essentially, like whatever the first one is, and then the weird like watery peaks or whatever it was. And I didn't find anything that was too terribly difficult, but I imagine like what they're talking about is either later on or if you end up off the beaten path on some of these challenge levels.
Yeah. Yep. And there's also a variable number of like levels, so there's warps and such.
Yeah,
like you can beat this game doing 3 levels if you know the game really well. So there's a lot of depth there. I say the level design is not very good. I don't mean there's plenty of secrets and stuff, which is cool. It's just the platforms and the actual kind of wireframe of it seems kind of haphazard to me.
Yeah,
like it reads as game maker, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Also, like nothing in the way of really memorable enemies that I saw that much, things like that. Yeah. But I really enjoy like, oh, now I'm a samurai, now I'm a knight. Now I think those were the two that I got.
Yeah, I got one other one. I'm trying to remember. I got roughly as far as you did, but again, there are those hidden hats.
Yeah.
This reminds me a little bit of. Did we do Nightmare on Elm Street?
No.
I have no memory of what we've done or haven't done for this show. We should do Nightmare on Elm Street at some point, because that's a fun game that has a similar conceit to this, actually.
Okay.
On the Nintendo, like it's the Dream Warriors. It's based on the Dream Warriors, and
nice.
You get power-ups to become the different Dream Warriors.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see using that dream logic to make something that is similar to this. Okay, I pulled up a list. I also got the Berserker, which is the spiked helmet that lets you charge.
That's the other one I
balls.
got. I couldn't remember his name.
Yeah. Did you find the Maniacs?
I did not find the Maniacs.
Yeah, so the Maniacs, you're dressed up like Jason. Yeah. You got a hockey mask on.
You're specifically throwing those little axes, which makes me think it's a slaughterhouse homage. Yeah. And just it's like a platform. Yeah, it's pretty neat. Like all these different things, and you can get really cool ones. There's a it's called like the Flip Rider or something like that. What is he called? There's one of them that is has a magical skateboard thing that swaps gravity.
Yeah, this is the Sky Cutter is what
Sky
it's
Cutter.
called. Yeah, so
and that's really neat. Like you can actually use it to fly forward if you swap gravity quickly enough. But then otherwise you can actually just just putting that into a game where it's not built around it is interesting.
Yeah, for sure. And you also have you get like kind of knock-on abilities depending on how many gems you get. So if you have like some of these like on the Berserker, no, let's do one that we've seen. So on the Red Stealth, which is like the Ninja Samurai guy, from 20 to 49 diamonds, all enemies slow down, and from 50 to 99 diamonds, Death Snake, a snake of diamonds, comes out and seeks out enemies and destroys anything it touches.
Pretty great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's really great. I figure out one minor kind of issue I have with it too, though. The diamonds remind me of it, is that I don't like that they are all in blocks.
Yeah.
So it just kind of adds this little step to collecting coins.
Yeah.
Like imagine in Mario if every coin was inside a block. Like it just slows down the pace a lot.
Yeah, and like the distribution of coins and lines, to incentivize you, to have some kind of like just smoothness of motion. Like that is enough that they made a whole mobile game about it, but it is a major, it's a major part of the design of the actual games themselves too.
Yeah. And it is not on display here.
No.
But other than that, like I think that it is actually it's real fun to play around with these different abilities.
Yeah. And
I think they were cool, like poring over them in a magazine and just being like, oh, cool. Like the idea of getting all these different powers is appealing to me.
Yeah. This is a visually appealing game too. If you can, the individual sprites, I should say, the actual levels themselves do look a little bit game makery. But like all these different forms are well designed and attractive.
And those little dragons with no arms.
I
think those are interesting.
Yeah.
Somebody there's a big fan, kind of cult fandom for this.
Yeah.
Did you see the level editor?
No, I didn't.
There's a level editor on the Kid Chameleon wiki you can get to called KE.
Okay.
You use a thing called Kid Tool to display the information, and then import that into Kid Edit.
Uh-huh.
And then you're able to make Kid Chameleon levels.
I love Kid Edit. Does your kid suck?
Yeah, like I wish Bill Murray had Kid Edit and Rushmore. Then maybe that whole mess could have been avoided. So yeah, loading up the Kid Tool and the Kid Edit.
Yeah.
To add these things. It's kind of like a little homemade bad interface version of Mario Maker.
Huh.
So
I'm not surprised that this had its following, right?
Oh yeah, me neither. It's extremely popular.
Yeah.
So this is a cult classic.
Yeah, for sure. Like to the point where, and again, because this was a Genesis game, a major thing for Genesis, this doesn't surprise me. A Brazilian team called Game Blocks decided to make a like an unofficial remake of it. But so they promoted it on the GameFAQs board, saying like, "Hey, we're showing our love for this game by making a remake of Kid Chameleon in 3D." And then their website is just it's nothing. It's not there anymore. So
you really bit off a little bit more than you can chew by deciding to do 3D.
Yeah,
on that one.
No. Oh, huh. Okay, so it's just that site that they linked to. Game Blocks, they make phone apps, but it's mostly like advert games and like web games and stuff. Oh. So I have no idea why you would do something unofficial like that.
That is odd.
Yeah, I can't see anything in Portuguese without thinking about Tiny Puppets now.
Yeah.
So that's the very specific way in which you sharing that has broken me.
I would love a Tiny Puppets mod.
Oh yeah,
for everything. Like Grand Theft Puppets. Like giving them pups. Like Puppet Fighters. Like I'm into it. Street Puppets too. Yeah, really into it.
Yeah.
Mortal Cormat.
Mortal Cormat.
Cormat. Yeah.
Oh man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is cult classic, and because so when you say it's the Genesis means that there's a Brazilian remake of it, like that's true. The Mega Drive was huge in Brazil. It also means that a bunch of the reviews are Move Over Mario.
Yes,
like everyone's put on their Crash Bandicoot costume and are standing outside of Nintendo HQ with a mega horn.
Yeah, doing just like weird like whataboutism with Mario and Kid Chameleon. Like, oh well, Mario is what about Kid Chameleon? You've never addressed the Kid Chameleon issue, Nintendo.
The Kid Chameleon controversy, aka KCK.
Yeah.
That's pretty annoying.
Yeah.
This is the first game from the Sega Technical Institute.
STI.
Who are people who did Sonic 2 and did Comic Zone and the Ooze.
Yeah.
You
remember the Ooze? We did the Ooze.
Sonic 3, Sonic Spinball.
Yeah.
Green Dog, the Beach Surfer dude. Hold up.
Wait a minute. Okay.
The eponymous protagonist of our story is Green Dog, the player character, a laid-back, cool surfer and skater with a mop of bleached blonde hair. He has surfed most of the biggest waves around, including the coast of Australia, California, and the Mediterranean. Cool. He's always in search of the biggest waves, which will give him the biggest thrill, and he cares for little else in life. This is a good Wikipedia. He has numerous contraptions and toys, such as a gyrocopter, inline skates, a skateboard, and an antique frisbee, which could be dangerous in the wrong hands. He doesn't say much except for dude and cool. I think
it's like a diving bell and the butterfly kind of thing.
Like once we get next time we get one of our own picks.
Yeah.
I feel like Green Dog, the beach surfer dude ! Might be good.
So we really need to enunciate this because I've never heard of this before. It's not Green Dog, the beach surfer dude. Well, obviously the beached. So like a whale when you have to explode him.
Yeah, like a pre-exploded whale, if you can imagine.
Yeah. No, that's crazy. How have I never heard of Green Dog?
I don't know. Like he's like the Sentry. Like it's all part of his magic that we've all forgotten about him. Because STI is not a company that has no cachet.
No, no.
People like saying, "Oh God, dude." Green Dog. I just put Green Dog into YouTube.
Okay.
Some of these character proportions, man. This opening cutscene, like It's incredible. Green Dog is terrifying.
I'm gonna need you to not do anymore. We need to save it for the up, man.
Saving Green and who is Green Dog? Like, yeah, we just need to make sure we remember, because a lot of times I'm like, I got to do this for next time I have a pick. I just completely forgot.
Yeah, no. So what's going to happen is I'm going to leave this tab open, and 2 months later, when I go to clean out my tabs, I'm going to say, "Oh, Green Dog."
Alternatively, when this episode comes out, I'm going to get a bunch of tweets about Green Dog and be like, "Who the fuck's Green Dog? Who are you? What are you talking about?" Because I won't remember.
Right.
But man, Green Dog, the beach surfer dude, is very ugly and good.
His girlfriend, Bambi, a beautiful buxom blonde woman in a red bikini, finds him and explains to Green Dog that the pendant is of Aztec origin and carries a terrible curse. It dooms the wearer to be attacked by animals and wild primeval creatures, and worst of all, will prohibit surfing. So not only will every animal within a 5-mile radius just come at you with everything it has, you also can't surf.
I love that. Let's make this game about this surfer guy where we give him an amulet so where he can't surf. It's very strange. Like, I get that's a motivation for him, but that feels like a real sequel thing. They should have set that up later. Where's the Green Dog Defense Force? I mean, again, like, we'll save it. We'll find the Green Dog Defense Force.
Yeah. Oh, let us know if this is not your first time hearing about Green Dog.
Yeah, if you're just like, oh yeah, I love Green Dog. Yeah. I will definitely feel like this is a mandala, and in fact, like, we've entered into another universe where Green Dog has always been.
Yeah.
Like, oh, cool. I just tried to Google Rystar and it came up with no results found.
What?
We crossed into the other dimension where Green Dog is taking the spot of Rystar.
Oh no, I love Rystar.
You love what?
Oh, I don't know. Weird. Sorry. Did I just say static? I love. Weird.
Doesn't sound like anything to me. Anywho, Kid Chameleon. I don't know that I have that much more to say. Like, it's. I know we say that there's lots of different. It's not like, oh, the game is too good to talk about. The game is not good enough to talk about. Like, I know that. I understand. Yeah. That can probably be frustrating to some people. I do, there's not much more to say other than the fact that the central conceit is cool and what you're doing with it is less cool, I think.
Right. And like, this is probably in like the top 20th percentile of games we've covered for the show. Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
The other thing that's noteworthy about it, just from like an educational standpoint, is that it's known for being extremely difficult. And it looks like it gets really difficult later. There's some like kind of straight up, Kaiju Mario looking levels.
Oh geez, yeah, that would be probably intolerable, I think.
Yeah, it's not like it controls.
Yeah,
so.
Especially in a health bar based kind of thing, Yeah. Got a couple, not so much game facts goal, but I got a couple things here. Remake. So on the board here, Stodola says, I think this game should be remade and updated for today's gamer. I would.
I'm today's gamer.
I would, as a modern gamer on the go, I would add more suits and make sure the plot makes better sense. But other than that, I would not change too much.
Aw. Yeah. He does sound like a modern gamer on the go.
Yeah. But then _0 Oblivion comes in and says, if they made it any bigger, it would take years to complete. And then Stodola, undeterred, says, just like any Final Fantasy, which takes years, and look how popular those games are. I can't. Stodola, I cannot argue with that logic.
It's very cute. I hate people who come in and mismatch ends of an argument like that, like this. Like somebody being like, it'd be cool if this happened. Going troubleshooting that idea as if the person had just like sunk $1 million into investing into it is an extremely shitty move.
This is unrealistic what you're asking for.
It costs nothing to say it'd be cool if something happened.
Yeah. Just play with me.
Yeah, exactly. Like, just, and just it's answering an artistic wish with a practical answer.
Yeah.
As if you are a Shark Tank. And like this dude, I can't imagine the second poster is investing in this dude's Kid Kool remake or any Kid Kool remakes at all.
No,
he's just there to like shit on stuff that people want to, like, not even that people want to do. It'd be one thing if the guy was like, hey guys, I'm considering kickstarting.
Yeah.
It's just somebody being like, they should do this cool thing. I'm a fan of it. I like it. What a shithead.
Don't you realize this project would take time? Like, well, I mean, I'm not saying I wish they should do that and it should exist right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
It doesn't need to happen right in a second. Like it can happen. And it's like, oh, if they made it more complicated, it would take more time.
Yeah.
True. However, Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
And then got you there.
Yeah. Again, cannot argue with you.
Cannot argue with you. One of the little, again, like mini game facts thing is the main fact writer guy here, Mas Vega. I like that he thanks Galoob for making the Game Genie.
Oh, nice.
Mostly just because I want someone to, that's an unsung hero.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
I think.
Love the Game Genie. Yeah. Game Shark. All that stuff.
I'm a Genie man.
Yeah, I had both.
It's the age thing. Game Shark came along later.
Yeah. Game Shark is more of a PlayStation thing.
Put that into the side of a PlayStation. That's weird to me.
What's that?
Yeah. Then like the Game Shark PlayStation thing, you had to like, how do you? There's like you attach like the parallel port or something.
Oh yeah, like the little serial port in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never got that advanced.
No. We have a topic here by the Riddler 1. He says, Kid Chameleon the band. What a great game. Even named my band after the game. It's a sick name, and the game is great too. Check us out. Fresh out of Jersey.
It's a sick name. And the game is great too.
Send money. It needs medicine.
Yeah, let me see if Kid Chameleon the band has any Google presence here.
Well, so then Adolf Hendricks comes along. And he says, your videos annoy me when I'm looking for videos of the game. Tongue sticking out emoji.
There are a lot of like fucking killjoys on this.
Yeah, but yeah, great tribute, smiley face.
Oh, shit.
And then Flamey comes along and says, meh. Fuck you, Flamey. What the fuck are you doing, Flamey?
Flamey is not good. I don't like Flamey. Okay, this is fake. So I wonder if this is the guy. Kid Chameleon is a fake band from Scott Pilgrim.
Okay.
But then they actually are a real band.
Huh.
Here they've got a band camp and stuff. From Boston, UK. I don't know what that means exactly.
Weird.
Yeah, the Kid Chameleon EP by Kid Chameleon. The songs don't sound like they're about Kid Chameleon, and they have a song called "Saints Go Marching On," which like I don't know about that. Dirt Nap song version 1, Dirt Nap song version 2. And how's this Dirt Nap going? Okay, he's singing like Billy Joe Armstrong, which I don't particularly care about. But
yeah, not a fan.
Yeah, the people who, when you go on a board, like I understand, we met through a mutual criticism workshop board.
Yep,
that's such a fraught experience, though. Like people can be like this.
Yeah,
if someone just like, hey, I do this thing. Like it, like when everything to Guppy got rolled by all those Redditors who got real mad at us. Like that happened. And then I remember like a long time ago, I used to draw comics and stuff, and I put some of them on the comics webcomics board thing on the comics channel of SA.
Yeah,
and just like everyone is a huge prick.
Yeah,
and it's not like I expect everybody just like I like feedback. It was just not good feedback. It was just people being an asshole.
Right, right. And, we were run into that with the show sometimes, too. I mean, it was more of a thing during, like, Bonfire Side Chat, but it was like, understand the difference between you're just trying to hurt our feelings. Not that. That is a bad way to put it. But understand what can be made use of.
Well,
stop existing is not valid criticism.
Yeah, stop existing is bad criticism. And, like, the trick to, the way they make you do workshops and stuff in school where they talk about like compliment sandwich. People think of that as just being a feeling sparing thing.
No,
but it's really not, because if you're looking for a course, a course ahead, if somebody is actually doing a good job, like giving feedback, they can find the strengths in what you're doing as well. And like knowing what to avoid, knowing what to lean into is as important as what to avoid.
Right. And also, like, looking for something good and a bad thing, or anything really, makes you a more effective critic than if you're just saying, like, blah, here's everything wrong with it. You have to look at it and engage with it in a different way. Right.
Like, absolutely. Like, it's like I very clearly don't, like, just belong. Like, I'm not, like, if you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all. But, like, recognizing what something does that is good. Is extremely important. Like it's real funny because like we'll get people will talk about that. Like we have episodes that are kind of takedowns, but if you listen to like the Indigo Prophecy episode or something like that, which is like largely negative, there's by volume, it's probably like 30% praise.
Oh yeah.
Like there's a good chunk of that game that like we just said really nice things about, because there's like that's the stuff I wish they had done more of. That's the stuff that is the potential that gets ruined by the failures that they did.
Mm-hmm.
So like looking at those kind of things, it is more useful and accurate to the work to like have a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Even if you come down ultimately as being like, this is not recommended, like it's probably not just like, oh, this is just pure shit.
Yeah.
Like that dude's band, like Dirt Nap version 1 didn't sound particularly great to me.
Yeah.
But I could, if this guy was like, hey, I did this cool thing, I'd probably just not say anything in this board situation. But if he's explicitly seeking feedback, like you can do better than just like meh.
Yeah. Well, he wasn't even like seeking feedback. He just put it out there and said, hey, I do this. Lol, I love this game so much. Cool name, right? And this person coming in just says meh. Like what that says to me is that text fields are too goddamn cheap.
Yeah. Which is always the case. Like people just, can just put whatever you want in a fucking text map.
Yeah.
Text field. Just being shitheads.
Yeah.
Which is a bummer.
Man.
But this just in. Like, people are shitheads. Like I get that it's not new news. It's just annoying.
Yeah. It's just weird in such a low stakes kind of thing. Like that just just put this in a psych class when you're trying to explain like crab mentality. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. I have an interesting thing that happened to me yesterday.
Okay.
That I want to talk about, but it is going to require a deft hand. So I want to make it clear real quick that there's not that this is not something that I'm just like bringing up because I think it's funny.
Okay.
I'm bringing it up because I think it's weird. But it is actually very tragic either way you look at it, and recognize that.
I've got one too, so we can tag team.
Okay. Is it also that?
Yeah, it is also that.
Okay. So let's get serious. Let's have some just fun. And then mine's pretty short because I didn't actually get that much, but I was waiting for a bus. And I was, super, like, didn't sleep real well the night before, was very hungry. Like, so I'm out of it. A lot of these stories being with me being out of it, but I'm out of it a lot. Mm-hmm. And, a lady like asked me when the bus was coming, and I knew because I had the bus app. I told her, and then she said, hey, and she looked, like a little bit, like she didn't look like she was, homeless, but she looked a little bit, out of it, as well. And said, hey, like, I've had some of like, my trauma triggered. I just really need to tell somebody something. Do you mind if I talk to you for a moment? And like, I was like, okay, and if she was homeless, I'm trying to be better about acknowledging and doing the good person things with regard to the homeless. Right. Like, the biggest psychological damage that is just like feeling like they're invisible and feeling like they're ignored. I often don't feel like talking to anybody when I'm out and about, regardless of whether they are homed or not. But like, I'm trying to be better about that.
Right.
So I was like, yeah, I'm waiting for my bus. My bus is going to show up, but sure. She says, do you have a strong stomach? And I was like, yeah. So I don't know what that was going to be. And then she said, have you heard about the capitalist and pedogate? Which I have.
Oh, like that QAnon shit?
Yes.
Okay.
So she started telling me the story about her like being, and I didn't get the whole story because my bus came. This very long story about her being indoctrinated into this pedogate cult. And again, like, either real trauma happened to her and that's terrible, or she, is unwell and that's very sad. So I'm not playing this for laughs, right? So I just want to make that clear to people. It was just one of the weirdest things to have come unbidden out of the world.
Right. Because that's the kind of stuff that you see like bubble up online. Like that is very much out of its lane.
Out of its lane, and the detail of it, which like not all of it I will go into here because it's pretty foul and gross.
Right.
And she described it like in intense detail.
Right.
So it sounded like to me, and again, real or not, it doesn't make it less sad, but it sounded like something that like Rob Zombie would sketch on like a notebook.
Okay.
While during his planning for his houses of like 1,000 corpses.
Right.
When he's building that old house of 1,000 corpses.
Right.
The like it was just one of the weirdest things that like it's just very strange.
Yeah.
And like other people are just people who are on the street who are mentally unwell talk to me all the time. Like I just don't. It put me in a conflicted spot because I'm trying to be more open and good about that, but I also felt like I could not help.
Right.
extremely helpless. And, maybe it wasn't like in the middle of my day wanting to hear about a bunch of like, pedophilia stuff.
Yeah.
Like just out of nowhere. And I realized she asked, I could have just been like, no. But at the same time, she was just very much like, she seemed, regardless of the reasoning behind it, she seemed very upset.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to just be like, no, I'm going to actually listen to my headphones.
Yeah, it's not.
I could listen to you, but I prefer REM. It's just like I didn't want to do that.
Right. Huh. Yeah, I don't know what you do with that because, so walk me again. Walk me through the gates that got to this. I was like, hey, I had my trauma triggered. Can I share this with you? Do you know about this pedo gate stuff? And then immediately went into it.
She asked. She was trying to get me to have a common frame of reference. Like the first thing she asked, she was like, "Hey, have you Rosemary's Baby?" And I don't.
Okay.
Like I've heard of it, but I'd never seen it. And that's what I said. And then she's like, "Oh, well, have you heard of Pedogate with the capitalist of Pedogate?"
Weird.
Yeah. And then just sat next to me, and and it was a long stretch. Like she got what it felt like, my storytelling instincts. If it followed like a natural story, like maybe a third or a fourth the way through.
Okay.
By the time my bus got there, and it was a solid 8 minutes of me just being narrated to these atrocities.
That she went through. Roughly, how old was this woman?
She was probably in her mid-20s.
Okay.
If I had to guess.
Huh.
And like I said, like relatively put together, like kind of wild-eyed in a way that I wouldn't be surprised if there was stuff going on, but also clean and relatively well dressed.
Yeah, look like she had a place to clean up and other clothes to get into and stuff like that.
Yeah. So just really weird, right? Like this city living.
Yeah, that's very strange, especially like out in public at a bus stop when people are walking by, hearing snippets of it out of context.
Yeah, absolutely. Like this person just saying next to me and just like really, again, really foul stuff. And the reason why I'm not saying it is not because I think that like you couldn't handle it or because it's beyond the pale for the show, just because it would feel like, I just want to make it like exploity. I'm not.
No. Yeah, I wouldn't want you to share it either because that might actually like spread to other people and like bring up unfortunate memories in their lives. Yeah, I don't know what you do with that. Like the thing. Somebody just walked up to you and said, "Hey, I've got a bucket of this gross stuff. Can you carry this around?" And like
and just
it probably
just like can you
good
framing it even differently than that, like, hey, I really need you to do this.
Yes.
Like I'm extremely upset. Can you hold the space for a little bit?
Right.
And like that was the thing. It was I was entreated to do it, not told or pushed on me. It was like very like asked in a very vulnerable way.
Yeah.
But what it seemed like, maybe again, I also imagine there are people who are just like, oh, you're what a sucker. This is all. Eventually, this is going to end with her asking for $20, and then maybe that is true.
Yeah.
So, but at the time, it felt genuine. It didn't actually like hit any of my alarms. So.
Yeah. Huh. How did it end? So your bus came. Were you just like, hey, I'm very sorry. I've got to go. Like, how to break off?
That was exactly it. And then she got on the same bus, and I thought she was going to sit next to me and continue the story, but she didn't.
Okay. Huh.
So I was just like, I have to get on this bus. And she's like, I'll actually take this bus too. And I thought she was going to keep talking to me. And like, I didn't want her to.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I didn't want to hear about this anymore.
Right.
Because of course I didn't. It was unpleasant. And again, I felt very helpless about it.
Yeah.
But then it ended.
Yeah.
So.
Huh.
Yeah.
That is very strange.
Yep.
Huh. Do you want to hear mine?
Is it? Yeah.
Okay. So this was you may have read about this. I posted about it in Life, but I'll tell the story again here because everything is content. It was like earlier this week or like midway through last week. Okay, as of the time we're recording this, so I'm sleeping. I'm in bed, and it's about 1:00. And from a cold sleep, I hear my doorbell going off. Ba-ding, ba-ding. Like what? Mm-hmm. Okay. I get up thinking, okay, it's going to be my downstairs neighbor. There's a fire or there's a gas leak. Like maybe his carbon monoxide thing went off and mine didn't.
Sure.
So I get up, I grab my wallet, I grab my phone. Like, okay, this is what I need. Go down. It's not my downstairs neighbor. It appears like a young man, again, like probably like mid-20s, like probably college age, or maybe like a very late high school, something like that. Again, this is 1 a.m. in my neighborhood, which is like back from the road, like I'm in a cul-de-sac. So if he's like hitting random houses, ringing these doorbells, then he's been doing this all up and down the place. And so I'm like, all right, I have no idea what this is. I don't open the door. I just kind of like pop it open a crack, just enough to like look out with one eye. And he's, dressed up, but he's not really like talking or anything. He's just kind of standing there swaying, obviously drunk or under the influence of something. Right. And I'm like, hello? And he doesn't engage in conversation. He doesn't do anything. He's holding his phone. And he holds it up and he points the screen at me, and it's on like a maps app, like my house isn't his destination, so he's not my long lost son or whatever.
Sure. Yeah. If you turn out to have a kid at this point, I think that would be a really interesting twist for the network, and I encourage you to do it. Like just shake things up.
Yeah.
Mid-season slump. I bet you the Patreon would grow a lot if you had a son. Yeah.
Hey Cole, we need you to have a business son.
Yeah, it's like all the good parts are going to people with families. You're gonna have a baby.
No, so he holds it up.
My agent?
What?
No, nothing.
but he holds it up. It's a map app, but like my house isn't the destination, but it's in the neighborhood, right? And he says to me, it isn't exact, but it's online, I need you to call this. I'm not in the spirit to do it.
Yeah.
And so,
I definitely, I read about this. I definitely remember seeing this on the Slack.
I need you to call this. I'm not in the spirit to do it. And so I ask him for clarification, and he says basically the same thing, doesn't provide any new information. And finally, I'm like, I'm sorry, no, I don't know who you are. Like, I'm not going to open the door. I'm not going to take your phone. I'm not going to engage this any further. Like, I don't know who you are. And, so he says, thanks, man. I really appreciate it. And then he just kind of like, he doesn't walk away. He just kind of like stands on my doorstep, kind of like shuffling from foot to foot, and then like kind of like turns away and like meanders more than anything. Yeah. So I go upstairs, I look out the window, make sure he walks away. And I couldn't tell if he went to the next house. I went and looked out back where my car is to make sure he wasn't going back there and like leaving Mad Dukes under my hood or whatever.
Sure.
Right. Yeah. But like
his sons, your grandsons,
my grandsons on the hood of my car.
Yeah.
So I mean, Occam's razor. This is a drunk kid who was trying to find his way home. He was obviously distraught. Somehow he wanted somebody who was together to call, but like the way he phrased that, I need you to call this. I'm not in the spirit. Yeah. Like it was very like it so put me off my balance. I didn't get to sleep until like 5 that morning because I was like, what the fuck does that mean? And woke up the next day and I was checking the police blotter. Like, did this guy turn up dead? Was he arrested? Nothing came to light. So if he, if he died, it was a couple neighborhoods over, but.
I would think the two things that could be on the other end of that call would be either like a disowning father or an ex-girlfriend.
Yeah.
Like those are the things. Is my guess. Like, and like one of those would be very sad, and one of those is like the ultimate nightmare. Right. Like if you got stuck between this dude and his ex-girlfriend he was trying to drunk dial, like that would be extremely rough.
Hi, you don't know me, and I don't know the person whose phone
I'm advocating for what's your name? Oh, Shuffle? Mumbly Joe. Like, and then that would be you just kind of, and again, like I could be sympathetic to this guy too. He's probably just a drunk kid. It's possible he was unwell.
Right.
But just the idea of you just calling Carla or whatever.
Yeah.
For him, like, because this dude's not up for it. In some way, that's a very brave move.
Ringing
like
the
assuming
doorbells?
It's inconsequential like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, just like saying like, hey, can you reconcile with my father for me?
Yeah.
That's huh.
Yeah. So I mean, it's not your job to tell me that I'm okay, that I don't need to feel bad. But I felt kind of bad, but like also like that's a bit unreasonable of you to ask at 1 a.m. ringing my doorbell, just like leaning on it. Like this guy was pressing that thing like he was trying to put out a fire. It was
yeah. I kind of feel like ringing a doorbell is already pretty rude.
Yeah.
You know. Like just kind of like going through and just being like, even during the day, yeah, that's a little bit weird. Like, you know, there's one of those things something I think about with that, is whether that will go away as a joke setup, you know, like a traveling salesman stuck his dick in these 3 holes.
Right.
You know, it's kind of a thing. And it's just like, oh, somebody went up to somebody else's house and just knocked. They didn't know them.
Yeah.
They didn't text first. Like, whoa. Whoa. You know, it's already pretty strange.
My parents text before they walk up to my door.
Yeah. Every once in a while, like some of my friends will not do that. Like they'll just like I have some older school friends, and they'll like tell me they're coming over, and then they'll just knock.
Oof.
You know, without texting when they're outside. And I even say like text on arrival.
Weird.
You know? And yeah, I just don't like it.
No, I'm lucky because my living room window looks just straight down on my doorstep. You know, so I can see if you know, if it's like somebody who's canvassing for a political campaign or whatever.
Yeah.
You know?
Or if it's the fuzz.
Yep. Make my escape out the back with my fire ladder.
Yep. You mean upload yourself to the escape?
Yep.
Use your plug it into your FireWire port and lawnmower yourself to Canada.
Lawnmower yourself to my spare body in Canada.
Yep. Download yourself into Gordy Ross.
Yeah. So we both had very strange experiences.
Strange kind of like melancholy experiences with strangers that might have intersected with mental health, or might have just been, you know, scams or alcohol.
Yeah.
You know,
weird.
Either or.
And somebody's probably listening thinking, oh my God, these 2 morons, just social anxiety, crippled, blah, blah. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, it's for some people are listening to this and just be like, oh, somebody talked to you. That's so weird.
Yeah.
It's more like, to me, in both situations, like if I was in your situation that you had as well, it's more just about the venue and being blindsided by it.
Right.
You know, I think it's fairly common as you get older to have a lot more control over your socializing. You know, like it happens on my terms.
Yeah.
Generally. Like, you know, I socialize on my terms. It is not a surprise thing that happens to me. And like all you Yes Man fans out there are like, why don't you just open yourselves up to this kind of stuff? And it's like, I'm trying to be better about it as far as just like basic human dignity stuff. But every time I've opened myself up to things like that, it has not gone well.
Right.
You know, it's not like, I can't imagine if I had just gone with this and then she had just, you know, and I just said yes to every question that was eventually asked me. That would be a good thing.
Right.
You know, like, you know, best case scenario, I give a stranger $20 who actually needs it. Worst case scenario, like I go and see the compound, you know, or what have you. Like,
yeah, no.
It's the same thing for you. Like best case scenario, like you call a cab for a drunk guy who doesn't understand how to describe a cab.
Right.
Worst case scenario, again, like you're stuck between like, you know, this guy and perhaps his like equally drunk and out of it, you know, hot mess of a girlfriend.
Yeah.
You know, in your vestibule.
Yeah.
Trying to reconcile.
I mean, worst case scenario, I have a new roommate. His name is Trevor. He lives on the couch.
That would be amazing.
Hi.
Like, yeah, and what if you just he never changed? Like you woke up from like a full night's sleep and just was like, you know, like points to the shower. And it's just, you know, it's like, I'm going to need you to contact the magic cloud. I don't have the good for it. You know, just like,
hi, I'm Trevor. I'm your friend who's always drunk.
Yeah, like I was born drunk, and alcohol makes me sober.
Yeah,
I come from opposite. I am Bizarro Trevor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
So Kid Chameleon was recommended. So this is a Patreon commission. Somebody demanded.
Cool.
This is Gregory, who says one of the earliest.
Sorry that I turned this into such a melancholy weirdo episode. Sorry.
Gregory, it's fine. We'll get there. Says one of the earliest games I can remember playing and liking. No password system, so it was a get it in one go thing for past me. I remember getting pretty far, but I doubt I saw the ending screen. Might not be a terrible game, but we listened to Abject Suffering for the conversation and less for the critique, so we don't need to feel bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
It takes about 4 hours to beat this normally, and then the speed run's about a half hour.
I could see that.
Or it's even a little less than that, but it's like 25 minutes or something like that.
Yeah, that's longer than I would expect for a platformer like this. Actually.
Well, and it's not that you can actually beat it doing just the 3 levels, and then the speed run is like almost nothing.
Okay.
The speedrunners, they have their different categories and stuff.
Yeah.
This isn't quite any percent, but it's not 100% either. No. So there's some kind of like doing most of the levels form.
Yeah. This is also suggested by somebody named Young Gara. So thank you, Young Gara.
Thanks, Young Gara.
Saying, yes, this game looks rad. And if we're basing it off the cover, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, the cover is amazing looking. So absolutely. Like this, and I'm glad I got a chance to actually finally put some time into it. Like I said, I poked at it in one of those like Sega Classics collection things.
Yeah.
But this is probably the most I've actually looked at it, and it is interesting.
Yep.
For sure.
For sure. Well, thank you, everybody.
Yeah, I think that's about it. If you like the show, the best way to support us is to go to patreon.com/Duckfeed.tv. Hit us up. You can mandate episodes. You can vote in polls. You can guest on episodes. There are a lot of Abject Suffering related rewards.
Yeah, you get bonus episodes at a certain tier. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Also, leave a rating or review on Apple Podcasts and tell your friends.
Yeah. All those things are very appreciated. And listen to other shows on the network as well.
Yeah.
I talked some shit about the hated Will Hughes in a recent episode of Adaptation Decay. We knew a show on the network, Everything to Guppy. Mm-hmm. And for people who are listening and they're saying, hey, you guys made that Heartbeat City goal, that will come out in this month.
Yeah.
In May. I was scheduled the first guest actually yesterday. And but I'm gonna say this at least once on other shows because I need more questions so I can get ahead. I have enough questions to record the episode, but I want to record in batches. Right. Just for convenience for me. So if you have love, advice, relationship, sex questions, non-jokey, please call 1-502-69-HBEAT and leave a message.
1-502-69-HBEAT.
Indeed. I think that's about it.
Think so.
Yeah. So until next time, I still want to say Who is Green Dog, but it feels like that's jumping the line.
No, it's fine. It's like a preview. It's like the post credits thing. Like, you got Commissioner Gordon rolling up, and he's got a little slip of paper, and he asks, "Wait, who's Green Dog?"
Yeah, it's also like it's not like you can find out the answer to that in two questions.
Yeah,
I think to find out the answer who is Green Dog, you have to just be like, "Who is Green Dog? Who is Green? Who the fuck? Who is Green Dog?" And it just takes a long time to get there. Yeah. So who the fuck is Green Dog?
Where does Green Dog get off?
I'm gonna start experimenting with different cadences for Who is Zoo Dog.
Okay.
Like, we always just say Who is Zoo Dog, but like, what if it was like, Who is Zoo Dog?
But really, who is Zoo Dog?
Who is Zoo Dog? Me?